Alright, we're outside the Northshire Abbey again, which means it's Paladin lesson time. And what we're going to be going over today is how to run basic rotation for both the Holy Shock tanking build and the Deep Prot tanking build. Have we switched over to the Holy Shock build? Yes, we have. The reason? Because we're deep into the phase now, we're geared up, we've got tons of defensive items now, we're at 2-piece, so our healers are pumping more, and the DPS in our group is pumping more. So I'm running this build to help keep aggro, to contribute to killing bosses a little bit faster. However, if you're starting out as a Paladin tank and you're not yet geared, you're running in a group that's not doing a ton of damage, I still highly recommend going Deep Prot, and I endorse this build. I like this build. It's very fun. Holy Shield is sick, we know that. But what I'm going to go over is the runes and rotation that we're using for the Holy Shock build, and then I have a little bit of gameplay to show it in effect. I'm not going to go over the build here because I'm sure you can find it online. I'm not someone who's going to just push a meta spec on everybody. So if you want to run Holy, go find it somewhere else. So for the runes, we're going to start out. Art of War is one of the main features behind this build because it resets the cooldown of Exorcism and Holy Shock every time you get a crit. I'm now using the Electrocutioner's Needle, which has a 1.7 attack speed, which means I'm critting all the time, especially because I'm running Seal of Martyrdom, and if I crit with Seal of Martyrdom, it also triggers Art of War. Blizzard tried to change that. We told them, no thanks, and they reverted it. So, in order to be using Exorcism on any target, we're using Exorcist. I love Avenger's Shield. It's great. It looks awesome. However, Art of War doesn't work on it, so we're running Exorcism. Next, Hand of Reckoning. Already went over this in my original guide video. It's a must-have if you're tanking because it's a taunt. You get mana back from Righteous Fury every time you get healed. You have to take this if you want to tank. Seal of Martyrdom, like I said, I'm using this even in trash packs because it allows me to spam Holy Shock, spam Exorcism, because my weapon speed is so fast. If I didn't have fast weapon speed, I'd probably run Divine Storm in trash packs, but because of the weapon speed, I stick with this even in AoE packs. Sheath of Light is also going to amplify your damage by a lot, so we want to pick it if this is what we're trying to do, and we need to hold aggro because our DPS is absolutely smoking the boss. These runes I use for pretty much the entire Nomergon raid, except for the last two bosses. Why? Because they still hit really hard. On the Menagerie, you want to make sure that you're keeping AoE threat and you establish it right away, because if stuff starts running around, it's going to be tough. So on that fight, I use Avenger's Shield and Aegis, because Aegis is going to help our block value. It's going to help us actually block more often, and it's very valuable for when you're taking a lot of damage. For the last boss, Thermoplug, I keep Aegis on, but I go back to Exorcism because it's a single target fight and I don't need Avenger's Shield. One other variation I recommend is Enlightened Judgments. Why? Because you're going to be running around a lot because of his flamethrower ability, and to keep threat, you want to be able to judge at range. One variation you can do is in trash packs, use Guarded by the Light, because it's going to get you unlimited mana to keep spamming Consecration, which is going to help you keep aggro. It's something that I like to do. Resetting the cooldown on Holy Shock and Exorcism isn't that big of a deal when you're trying to keep threat. On big trash packs, you need mana to spam Consecration. So we're going to get into a little gameplay to show the rotation for this Holy Shock build. I'm not going to show gameplay for the Deep Prot build because it's a very simple rotation. You're just hitting Holy Shield, Exorcism or Avenger's Shield, and Judgment on cooldown, and that's pretty much it. You can see here I have a weak aura that shows when my abilities come up on cooldown, they bounce in the middle of my screen. They're pretty see-through, so it's not super invasive. Essentially, I'm playing a minigame, keep the icons off my screen, and it ensures that I'm pressing my abilities every time they come up off cooldown. I'll have the link for that weak aura in the description. You're welcome. Alright, so I have a clip of our electrocutioner kill because you're really just standing against a wall and executing your rotation. So it's a good fight to show how to efficiently execute your rotation. What we want to start out with is pulling with an exorcism, getting your Judgment and Crusader on there as soon as you can to start amplifying your holy damage. Then we're going to start pumping the Holy Shock, pumping your Judgment of Martyr, pumping Consecration, hitting your taunt when you have to, but we're pretty much just pressing these buttons on cooldown. So let's get the video started here. I'm going to pull with Exorcism because it has the range. I'm going to Judge Crusader immediately to start getting the amplified holy damage like I mentioned. Then I'm just going to start pumping Holy Shock, Consecration, Martyr Judgments on cooldown as much as we can. I have the weak aura, as you can see the icons bouncing in the middle of the screen. So essentially those disappear whenever I hit the button. So I'm playing the mini game of keep the buttons off the screen. Meanwhile, it makes sure I'm pressing all my buttons on cooldown. I'm not going to show the whole fight. I'll show a little bit of it here because obviously it's not a difficult fight. We had some people die, but based on bad positioning, but we kill the boss anyways. But the rotation is very simple, very effective. You're just pressing your buttons on cooldown. We're a little more than halfway through the boss now. As you can see, if you're looking at the damage meter, it's pretty good. We're only pressing about 3 or 4 buttons. But you do have to keep track of when you do get crits, and the Art of War resets your cooldowns with Exorcism and Holy Shock. We're running out of mana here because we did get so many. And there it is, the boss is dead. So this has been a rotation and rune guide for the Holy Shock build, as well as the Deep Protection build. I highly recommend and endorse the Deep Protection build if you're just starting out, learning how to tank, and you need the extra damage reduction. This Holy Shock build is specifically for later on in the phase when your group is geared up, your healers are pumping, and your DPS is ripping aggro off you. Thanks for watching. If you found this helpful, subscribe to the channel. Thank you for everyone that's returned, commented on these videos, given them a like. I appreciate your interest. Bye-bye.